Welcome to the next video in our series on overprotection and quite tabia positions, as they used to call it in the French defense. Basically from the white point of view, but you learn a lot of strategy in general studying it. And we have seen what happened when white sacrificed the pawn on Charlie 3. And now we will see, and the white could recapture with the knight there. White got very quick development, and black soon was under heavy attack in the Delgado Martins game. Now we will meet no one else than former five-time world champion, current #1 in the world, Magnus Carlsen. And he has employed these lines sometimes, mainly in blitz, and we actually head to a blitz game from 2023. Before we really dive into it, you who would need to read the game or also read the timestamps of the video, you who use an adaptive chess set because you are blind, for example, and sometimes need to go back in the video and read the moves, please open the description to the video and you will find additional helpful material there. Yeah, then we go. White is Carlsen, and he plays against another strong player, rated 25-20, Renato Terry. And it was played in 2023 on Title Tuesday. That is a very famous online event where many of the world leading players are playing blitz. I think they normally play 3 minutes and 1 second increment. And then you might ask, Mr. Magnusson, what are you kidding with us? Why do you show a blitz game? Because there must be many errors. And yeah, first of all, no, I'm not kidding. Yeah, sometimes, but not right now. And on this level, players like Carlsen commits fewer errors than I do in the classical game. So we can still learn a lot. And yeah, we have some interesting ideas, of course. Even Carlsen we will find out when we run the game through a chess engine like Stockfish or Lila, that even Magnus Carlsen, the strongest human player probably in all times, commits a lot of mistakes, but relatively few, I would say, and we still learn a lot. So, okay, without further ado, we play Echo 4 as white. Carlsen is white, and as we expect, we play Echo 6. We continue with the thematic study of the French defense. White goes on playing Delta 4, and black continues with Delta 5. Delta 5. White pushes with pawn to Echo 5. Pawn to Echo 5. The so-called advanced variation in the French defense that we have started to get acquainted with by now. Black plays Charlie 5. Charlie 5, attacking the base for the white pawn center. Very classical approach and the best one, I would say. White continues with pawn to Charlie 3. Pawn to Charlie 3. Black continues pressuring the center by playing queen to Bravo 6. Queen to Bravo 6. And white protects the Delta 4 pawn by knight to Foxtrot 3. Knight to Foxtrot 3. Black goes on by Bishop Delta 7. Bishop Delta 7. And white plays Bishop Delta 3. Bishop Delta 3. And this signals that white has very ambitious intentions. As we know, that this move often leads to that white sacrifices the Delta 4 pawn. black goes on by Charlie takes delta 4, Charlie takes delta 4, and white castles kingside, and this is maybe a good place to put the first timestamp. So black continues the development by knight Charlie 6, and here white waits to see if black will capture on Charlie 3 or not. So he does useful waiting moves, one could say, before moving the knight from Bravo 1. It can be good to see if black delays delta takes Charlie 3. It is nice to keep the knight on Bravo 1 for the time being, to get it out on Charlie 3 like we had in the Delgado Martins game. So white plays rook echo 1, and that is also a part of the overprotection. Often in these positions, white plays hotel 4, hotel 5, often when possible, bishop foxtrot 4, and then tries to establish control and space advantage on the king side by the pawn on echo 5. So this is classical overprotection strategy. Black plays knight golf to echo 7, and we know now, or we can suspect, that the knight wants to go to golf 6. So as white already has two pieces that protect echo 5, the rook on echo 1 and the knight on foxtrot 3, he in this case, because it's Carlsen, has time to run with Harry, run with hotel pawn. And if it gets to hotel 5, he can stop black's knight from finding a good square on golf 6. So we put another chord mark here, timestamp. So white plays hotel 4. Yeah, without this preliminary discussion or the knowledge that you have obtained by now, if you just saw the position, let's say if you came to a tournament and was reading chess books, like, for example, 100 years ago before Nimzowitsch, then we have to go even farther back in time. Let's say from the year 1900, probably players would really frown on such moves. What is white actually doing? Having given up one central pawn, now running with the pawn on the edge of the board. What is happening? But now we understand that it is actually about grabbing space, and overprotection can be done in two ways. One is the positive overprotection. That is when you add more pieces as protection to the square, or this kind of echo 5 pawn that you have. And the negative overprotection, that is denying your opponent from the possibility to attack this important square that you want to protect. So this prepares a kind of negative overprotection, running the pawn to hotel 5. Okay, black plays alpha 6. This move, we can see that often the Bravo 5 square is very tender in those lines. So if white can get a knight to delta 4, to Charlie 3, and jump to Bravo 5, that often creates a lot of problems for black. Especially if the knight can jump into delta 6. Maybe black has to swap off his black square bishop, which can give white very strong control over the dark squares. White pushes with hotel 5, and it is not always a good idea to go on pushing hotel 6, but very often it is a good idea. If white plays hotel 6 and black has to move the golf 7 pawn, white then can get a very strong attack by plonking pieces onto foxtrot 6. And that is far away, you could say, but it is not that difficult to get pieces there. You have one very interesting maneuver if you imagine that you play pawn to hotel 6 and black plays golf 6. Capturing hotel 6 is of course possible, but that pawn will fall, and then you have some pawn weaknesses. So black might want to play golf 6 instead, and then you can play knight hotel 2 from foxtrot 3 up to golf 4, and then voila, you plonk in on foxtrot 6, which can be very annoying for the black monarch. So for this reason, black reacts with hotel 6. Yeah, so black plays hotel 6 here in order to simply block the possibility for white to push. Often in those positions it's very practical to block here as black, because otherwise you constantly have to check whether white would get an advantage by pushing the hotel 6 pawn to hotel 6 or not, especially in the blitz game. That takes a lot of time, and it's easily happen that you go wrong. White continues with developing the knight from Bravo to Delta 2, from Bravo 1 to Delta 2. And this is a kind of concession. Black has played, not that many waiting moves, but let's say knight golf to Echo 7, Alpha 6, and Hotel 6. And White didn't find any more useful waiting move. I think the only move you could maybe think about would be pawn to Alpha 3, intending Bravo 4 maybe, Queen to Echo 2. But yeah, it's not so sure you want to play these moves. I think they would be possible, but yeah, Carlsen plays more directly knight Bravo to Delta 2. And in this position, I wouldn't recommend black to capture on Charlie 3, but that is what black does. It is not horribly bad, but black's position is already a bit difficult. According to Stockfish, for example, white is up approximately half a pawn. It increases a bit after what happens in the game, which is Delta takes Charlie 3. Delta takes Charlie 3. So, and white captures with the pawn, Bravo takes Charlie 3. Bravo takes Charlie 3. In later lectures, we will discuss a little bit more about what happens if black continues not capturing on Charlie 3. So, what is then going on here? White has got a lot of pawn weaknesses here. Actually, white has 3 pawn islands. We have one island on Alpha 2, one on Charlie 3, and then one from Echo 5 to Hotel 5. See the Foxtrot and Golf pawns, of course, included. And black has 2 islands, Alpha and Bravo pawns, and the pawns from Delta to hotels, Delta 5 to Hotel 6. Moreover, black is a pawn up. How then can it be that the machine evaluates the position to be about 0.7 pawns better for white? Yeah, it is piece activity. And the possibility now also for white to push the C pawn to Charlie 4, trying to open the position, trying to get control of Charlie 4 and Echo 4 squares. If the delta 5 pawn disappears, white gets control of these squares, can put a knight there, and the knight then eyes delta 6. And that, I think we already saw an example of that in the Nimzowitsch-Leonhardt game. So we can see that the game from 1912, a player like Magnus Carlsen has fantastic memory and a wonderful broad knowledge about classical games. Of course, this is deep in his unconscious chess memory. So he, of course, knows this. He could explain those things in his sleep. Probably, although I haven't tried to ask him in that situation. So, black now goes on to play queen to Charlie 7. Queen to Charlie 7. A logical move, increasing the pressure not only on Echo 5, but also starting to eye down to the Charlie 3 pawn. But the Charlie 3 pawn will not stand there, suffer being blockaded by a black knight on Charlie 4 or something, and that black might dream of putting on immense pressure on the weak white pawns. No, it advances to Charlie 4. White plays Charlie 4. And here we see that black starts to get problems. We can think like this. If black takes the captures on Charlie 4, then white has achieved what he wants. Interesting combination of obtain and achieved. Well. But it's difficult to find many better moves, at least not in the long run. When you run the chess engines, you can see that if black plays, for example, knight foxtrot 5, white can often just kick it away with pawn to golf 4, maybe prepare it even with bishop bravo 2. And it doesn't matter if it will be exchanges on delta 4, because the position will sooner or later open in white's favor, because white is better developed. So even a push like golf 4 in many cases can be well justified. But this requires deeper analysis that one has to do on one's own, otherwise we will spend ages with this position. Actually, Stockfish first recommendation for black in this position is to play bravo 5, if I recall correctly, and pretty soon white will win that pawn and have a very stable advantage, often developing then pawn the bishop on alpha 3, first playing pawn to alpha 4, bishop to alpha 3. There might be recaptures on alpha 3 with the black dark square bishop. We imagine that the black knight from Echo 7 has moved somewhere, and then rook can come up to alpha 3. Then we move the pieces from the third rank and swings the rook, so-called rook lift, to the king side and attack there from there. So the position is already critical for black, and we have just played 30 moves, and black has played decent moves all the time. Black continue with knight bravo 4, knight to bravo 4, attacking our bishop on delta 3. That retreats to foxtrot 1, bishop foxtrot 1. One would say that black has won a moral victory here, actually putting the white bishop on a more passive square, but it wouldn't last long. The knight on bravo 4 is not stable. White can push it away, kick it away with pawn to alpha 3, more or less whenever he wants, and then return with the bishop to delta 3. but there is no real stress with it either. Foxtrot 1 is an okay square, also giving the white monarch a little bit more protection. The game continued with delta takes Charlie 4. That is maybe not the optimal move, but not very. I think it is the second recommendation of Stockfish. White recaptures with the knight. Knight takes Charlie 4, and we put in another timestamp. Knight takes Charlie 4, and now we see that White's threat is the devastating knight to delta 6 check, taking the house, because it then follow king delta 8 and knight takes foxtrot 7 check, capturing next on hotel 8. So of course black has to move the knight from echo 7. The question is only where. The best is to play knight to foxtrot 5, but it doesn't. It is a bit better, but white still remains on top. I think one can play in many different ways here, but maybe just simple moves like bishop bravo 2 and alpha 3, kicking away the knight from bravo 4, putting the rook on Charlie 1, sooner or later plonking the knight on delta 6. And even if white would lose a pawn there, the pawn on golf 7 will also fall in many lines, giving blacks big problems with his king side. So black instead played knight echo to delta 5, not echo to delta 5. And that is a very understandable natural move. Instead of putting the knight on foxtrot 5, then it can be booted away pretty soon by golf 4. The knight takes the outpost on delta 5, a proud position for the knight. But it doesn't really help. And we will see how it actually goes down quite quickly here. White plays bishop bravo 2. Bishop bravo 2. And there are many other moves white could play here. Knight delta 4 is also a very good move, with the idea to move the queen to golf 4. And then you see it's quite good to have the knight on delta 4 for more than one reason actually. First of all, the queen would not be allowed to jump over the knight getting to golf 4, so it has to move out to the way of the queen. And moreover, the knight from delta 4 also protects Charlie 2. So if you leave the queen side a bit and going queen golf 4 in the future, then Charlie 2 will be protected. So these are ideas, but the move bishop bravo 2 is very good. You can play simple moves here because you remain with a substantial advantage, although you're still a pawn down. The game continued with bishop Charlie 5. Bishop to Charlie 5. A natural move, of course. The problem is that the bishop is not so stable. There can come a rook on Charlie 1 in the future, maybe first playing alpha 3 and rook Charlie 1, and the bishop would be a bit unstable. Moreover, white gladly changes dark squared bishops, and that we also saw in one of the earlier Nimzowitsch games, because the black square bishop is the main defender of the delta 6 square. So it is a shaky position for the bishop. white actually jumps in immediately. Knight delta 6 check. Just a moment, I will put another timestamp. So, knight delta 6 check. And the idea here is, of course, that if black captures with the bishop, white captures with the pawn, queen might capture, but then you can take on Golf 7 with the bishop. The move from Hotel 8 moves, and you might continue with Bishop Echo 5 with a fantastic position. Black has nowhere to hide his king. He can't reasonably. There's no comfort on the king side, and the queen side. Open c file, the bishop on Echo 5. Yeah, I don't have to say more. So black plays King Foxtrot 8, and we see here by this pretty slow maneuvering, white plays a kind of positional game, taking space, develop pieces, play Hotel 4, Hotel 5, not doing anything. But the weird thing is to allow black to get a pawn, even weakening the white structure. Suddenly has turned out that black, after 70 moves, cannot even castle. He has to go with, well, he chooses to go with the king to Foxtrot 8. So it's those positions are very rich, and yeah, we will go in the latest, the last lectures. We will discuss a little bit more about black's opportunities, of course, as well. White continues with Queen Delta 2. Queen Delta 2. There are even better moves if you are a chess engine, but if you are a human being playing a 3-minute blitz game, it might make sense. White connects the rook. That is often very good to do. And yeah, white has the knight on Delta 6, which is worth a lot. Black plays Queen Bravo 6, and we also see then that white's Queen Delta 2 was a kind of prophylactic move. That means that the queen developed, but it also before black attacked Foxtrot 2 with Queen Bravo 6, and which happens now, both the bishop and queen are pressing on Foxtrot 2. White plays the queen on on Delta 2, so the Foxtrot 2 is protected. White plays Rook Alpha to Bravo 1, and this is also a very classy move. You can see that it fits so well with the idea of playing Bishop Delta 4 in the future, because the bishop is also protecting the knight on Bravo 4, so then you would have problems with the knight, maybe, but yeah, and also you would have the Alpha 3 threat coming on because the knight is pinned, and moreover, white gladly swaps dark square bishops because that will makes the control of Delta 6 chronic. So black plays Queen Alpha 7. I don't say that all those moves are the best, but it is a blitz game. But yeah, decent moves. Queen Alpha 7. White now plays Bishop Delta 4, and this is an important thing to remember. So we put a timestamp. Put a timestamp here on Bishop to Delta 4. So we can see that Nimzowitsch spirit is upon the game. Black played Bishop takes Delta 4. Bishop takes Delta 4. And white played Knight takes Delta 4. So now we can see black has actually, it seems like black should be able to defend quite well. I mean, maybe developing a rook to Charlie 8 in the long run. The big problem is that the rook on Hotel 8 has such problems getting into the game. And yeah, you can do some moves, but it is very difficult to get any coherent plan as black here. So it collapses quickly. Black plays Queen Charlie 5, Queen Charlie 5. And yeah, white just plays Alpha 3 with the pawn, kicking away the knight, and that is really good for the rook that already is on the Bravo file. Black plays Knight Charlie 6, Knight to Charlie 6. Black plays. Now white plays Rook takes the Bravo 7. Black plays Knight to Charlie 6 and Rook takes Bravo 7. Actually, regaining the pawn. And one could think that now is black's turn. Now we can take on Delta 4. Let's say, for example, Queen takes Delta 4, and then we swap queens there. The knight comes to Delta 4, but white then takes on Delta 7, and white has a strong attack on Foxtrot 7 and can pretty easily infiltrate with the rook from Echo 1 coming over to the queen side, also getting into the 7th rank, for example. So black would be completely paralyzed. The position might not look lost, but it is. Because when you start to think of, okay, what move should I play then? Then you see that if I do this, I lose in that way. If I do this, I lose in that way. So it's far more critical than it optically would be imagined. The black plays Rook Delta 8, Rook to Delta 8, defending the bishop and thereby trying to keep white thereby trying to defend also Foxtrot 7, so that the rook on the 7th file, the 7th rank from white, and knight on Delta 6 wouldn't pressure Foxtrot 7. But knight takes Charlie 6 comes. And now you can't capture on Charlie 6 with the bishop, because then it immediately follows rook takes Foxtrot 7. Check. If nothing even more evil. Yeah, I mean, the rook Charlie 1 is also a nasty move to meet. Black is in severe trouble. So, yeah, but actually, black plays bishop takes Charlie 6. But that loses to rook takes Foxtrot 7. That was what happened. But, yeah, even if we had imagined the queen to capture on Charlie 6 instead, that would, for example, allow white to play rook Charlie 1. That is one idea. Taking control of the open file. Knight Delta 4 is on the cards also. But yeah, black's position is so weak, so it's very hard to move any pieces. White didn't capture on Foxtrot 7, but played rook Charlie 1. Rook Charlie 1. So now it is difficult to move the queen and protect the bishop on Charlie 1. So black chooses to give material. Queen takes Delta 6. Queen takes Delta 6, sacrificing the queen for a knight and a rook, but it doesn't help. White plays echo takes delta 6, of course. Black bishop takes bravo 7. And white plays queen bravo 2. When you have such bishops like the one on bravo 7, it's often so that you feel that they can't really stabilize, they can't be stable anywhere. So white can easily pile up on them, and there will be pins and other things, so it's a very difficult situation. And moreover, the queen on bravo 2 also eyes golf 7. Black plays bishop to alpha 8, and white plays bishop takes alpha 6. Bishop takes alpha 6. And here it is important to note that you can't grab on delta 6 with the rook, because then it comes queen to bravo 8 check, and the rook on hotel 8 will fall. And now with the bishop on alpha 6, you can easily play a rook to Charlie 8, exchanging one of the few active pieces that black has, and just walk your way through down to promoting the d pawn, probably. Black played king golf 8, really trying to develop the rook on hotel 8. White played rook Charlie 8. Black played rooks takes Charlie 8. Rook takes rook. And white continued bishop takes Charlie 8. Bishop takes Charlie 8. So now you see that it will be very difficult to stop the d pawn, the delta pawn, to go through. Black developed the king to hotel 7. King to hotel 7. Black pushed delta 7. According to the proverb, passed pawns should be pushed. Delta 7. Black played knight foxtrot 6. Knight to foxtrot 6. White continued with queen Charlie 2 check. With queen to Charlie 2. Black defended with bishop to echo 4. But after queen Charlie 7, queen to Charlie 7, white will queen next move, and black had more than enough of this game. So what we have here in this game is that white after a while had to move the knight from bravo 1 to delta 2, but after the exchange on Charlie 3, white had the opportunity to push Charlie 4, and that was more dangerous than it might look at the beginning. But getting the control over the echo and Charlie 4 squares, placing a knight there, plonking in on delta 6, even on the cost of a pawn, that puts a lot of pressure on black. So this is what we can take with us from this game. Thank you for now.